Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John, and I have another anniversary album review by the band Queensryche. So the name of the album is called Rage for Order. But before I begin, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. So this is their second studio album, released on June 27th, 1986. I'm a little late for it, but it is celebrating its 35th anniversary, and this album is considered to be both progressive metal and a little bit of glam metal. I'll talk about that in a minute. Was put out by EMI America and produced by Neil Kernan. So this could be considered the first progressive metal album. Basically, it's just a very kind of a metal album. Two guitars, there's keyboards, it's very technical, it's very technological. And the lyrics are about social and political themes, and they talk a lot about technology and robotics, and I'm going to be using those words a lot throughout this review, because that's kind of what they did a lot. Lots of different staccato rhythms, kind of use of reverse echo effects. And during this time, came out in the mid 80s, and their managers wanted them to be glam metal or goth metal. So you can see in their photos and the music videos, they had this big hair, they had the dark eye makeup, and they had a different look than what you might remember them by. Actually, if you saw my recent video on the decline of the Western civilization, part 2, I talked about the song Prophecy. Now, I want to make a minor correction. I did say it was from The Warning, but it was actually recorded during this time, and it was a B-side of their single, Gonna Get Close to You. Then they just added it to their EP and The Warning as additional tracks later on. But I'm going to be talking about all those in a minute. This is also the first album cover to have that Tri-Reich logo. I'll put a picture of that right there. And that's seen on almost every album afterward. So let me talk about the lineup. It has the classic Queensryche lineup. Jeff Tate on vocals, Chris DeGarmo on guitars, Michael Wilton on guitars, Eddie Jackson on bass, and Scott Rockenfield on drums. So let me talk about the songs. The first song, Walk in the Shadows. This is a straightforward heavy metal song. Has the chugging guitars, really cool lead guitar riffs, really great twin guitar attack. It really sounds really good. Awesome guitar solo. Now this intro song is more straightforward, heavy metal, more reminiscent of their earlier albums. The songs do start to get a lot more experimental as they go on, but I'll talk about that as I go on. The song is 3 minutes and 35 seconds long. These songs aren't long. I think the longest song is maybe a little over 5 minutes, but a really good way to start out the album. Next song, I Dream in Infrared. So this one, they start out a little slow. This one, you hear those deep bass notes, and you're going to be hearing that throughout this album as well. This one incorporates some of the clean guitars. Has a heavy riff. It's a kind of a different type of song for the band. They use different heavy and light parts of the song. The bass, like I said, sounds really good. Really great twin guitar attack, using both the distortion and the clean guitars. And this is something they would do later on their other albums. And there is an acoustic remix of the song on some versions of the album, so that's something that's pretty cool if you want to look that one up. Next is a deep track called The Whisper, and I like this song. It's one of their lesser known songs. Has a very Iron Maiden-esque riff. I'm kind of coming off my Iron Maiden video doing this, but it is a hard driving song. You hear a little more of those keyboards come in, and Jeff Tate uses some little different vocal styles. Now, as the title suggests, they do have some whisper style vocals used throughout. That's pretty cool. Song is less than 3 minutes, and there are different complex parts of the song, lots of layered vocals and different sound samples towards the end. This is a really cool song. Next is one of their most recognizable songs, Gonna Get Close to You, and I actually didn't know this, but it's a cover song from an artist called Dabello. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's a Canadian female artist who I'm not really too familiar with. But it's a very different type of a song for the band. It's a really cool drum beat. That's just the most memorable part. And it's almost industrial metal. That's really cool. Jeff Tate's voice, kind of a little bit of a distortion on it. They do have a music video on this. I do remember Jeff Tate with that dark goth I wake up in that one. It's kind of a slow song, you're not really fast moving, but it just has lots of cool sounds. I think this is where they start to incorporate all these different like sound samples, and there's just a lot going on here. Really great like bass sound, that like deep, like thick bass, and you're gonna hear that throughout the album as well. The next song, The Killing Words. Now, this one's a little different sounding, has some more keyboards into it. Does have some heavy riffs, but there's a verse section that is very slow and atmospheric. And you know, Jeff Tate has kind of more of like an emotional vocal style here. There are some heavy guitar riffs, and it has some pretty cool like palm muted riffs and a really cool melodic solo. So I like that one a lot. Another deep cut is called Surgical Strike, and this one to kind of go back to that straightforward heavy metal. It's a mid-paced song. Does have some of that like complex riffs going on. Another great song with a bass sound. I really like that thick sound. Has a kind of a slower verse section and a harder chorus. Really great drum sound on this one. The song does get a little proggy towards the end. They kind of experiment with like time changes and sound samples, and there's a lot really going on. Next song, Neue Regel, which is, according to my translation, it is German for new rule. I'm not really sure on my pronunciation. Pretty cool, like almost bluesy acoustic guitar intro. That's pretty cool. Has some futuristic sounds. That's pretty cool. Really great classic heavy metal riff. Lots of sounds going on here. You know, you still hear the like thick bass. Jeff's vocals are slightly distorted again here. This is one of those great like headphone songs. You know, there's a lot going on, and it's one of the longer songs. It's a little over 5 minutes. Next song, Chemical Youth, We Are Rebellion. This one kind of starts out, sounds like a traditional metal song. Really cool intro riff, but they do incorporate and use a lot of like different sounds and samples. The guitars sound really good. Pretty cool like galloping riffs, and some pretty cool like guitar, like lead guitar work, some of those like guitar squeals. And this could probably even one of their more like heavier songs, some like really like fast and heavy like vocal parts, some atmospheric breakdowns. They do get a little experimental here. The drums in the outro are really great. This is really another great headphone song. Next song, London, really one of the more like memorable songs. Has some clean guitars in the middle, that like heavy thick bass. Really great mix of that clean and heavy guitars. And like I said, just one of the songs you really remember well. Lots of like layered vocals, and it's pretty cool. Next, Screaming in Digital. It's kind of like a slower keyboard heavy track. Has some pretty cool like galloping guitars in the intro. The drum beat sounds really good. Almost like industrial metal again. Kind of a different sounding type of song. Lots of different like layered vocals, lots of sounds, lots of samples, some stop-start riffs. Kind of ends out with a melodic guitar solo. It's a really good one. The last song, I Will Remember. So this is a slow song. It's like a ballad. Has a clean guitar intro, more softer, more melodic vocal performance by Jeff Tate. Has some like acoustic guitars that they kind of like strum chords in the verse section, and it is one of the ballads. It's not really like a silent lucidity type of song, but it is a slow atmospheric ballad, and ends out the album that way. So in conclusion, what did I think? One of those albums I've listened to like so many times. I never really like paid close attention. You know, I've kind of put it on in the background. I've been doing other stuff, but never realized that the album is like very technical, very technological, kind of futuristic. It is. It's like early prog metal. It's almost like an early version of like Radiohead's OK Computer. I mean, it's just lots of different like technical sounds going on. Lots of like layered vocals, lots of clean and distorted guitars. You know, the first two songs are kind of more straightforward, but by the third song, they get like really experimental. So I do recommend you go back and revisit this album if you haven't heard it in a while. I think Queensryche fans usually rank this in their top 3 or top 5. Considered one of the best. So that's it. Comment below. Let's talk about Queensryche and Rage for Order, or what do you think of the band and the songs. That's it. This is kind of like a little extra video I did because my first Iron Maiden video I did was only like 3 minutes and it was like really quick. So I wanted to I had some time tonight. I wanted to put together another video. So that is it. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow or today, Friday, whenever I post this, with some new releases, Powerwolf and some other bands. So Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.